Nuance, the nicky, the nitsy gritty, even if it's shitty. Guys, I'm only going to touch on this topic. My followership so far has been following what's been happening in the townships, taking back our land from illegal immigration and ensuring that the only ones who come through are legal ones. Okay, and right now the DA is in charge of home affairs and that kind of thing, and they're putting on a great show, okay, in front of us. But guys, let's hold ourselves accountable, okay? I want to make this clear as a Joe Burger. Cape Town is for Capetonians. If South Africa is for South Africans, then Cape Town is for Capetonians, right? And let us not let the African diaspora say we only treated the African diaspora one way and we didn't treat the Westerners another way. So if you're not clear on what's happening with the digital nomads in Cape Town, once again, if you are a digital nomad and you want to come here, you are more than welcome. But we need to find a way that works for both of us and that is not at the expense of South Africans. Okay, so Cape Town is for Capetonians. We need to find more equitable solutions, and they're not as hard as you think. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you just to the concept right now, audience. Okay, digital nomads. By the way, I'm not against digital nomads. I've always wanted to be one.
Now, I recently moved to Cape Town as a digital nomad. And
Realistic day in my life as a digital nomad working in Cape Town.
A day in the life of a digital nomad in Cape Town.
Me and my best friend moved to South Africa to spend our first day together living and working in Cape Town.
Welcome to a day in the life of a digital nomad / entrepreneur / freelancer in Cape Town.
If you're coming to Cape Town, here's everything you need to know. If you're American, you can come to South Africa without a visa and stay for 3 months, which is amazing because a lot of the other surrounding African countries require a visa and it's like $50 to $100.
Can I please play that again slowly? The same countries that say that we need to not be so harsh with them, right, are doing what? Are doing, just repeat that, girl.
Entrepreneur / freelancer in Cape Town.
If you're coming to Cape Town, here's everything you need to know. If you're American, you can come to South Africa without a visa and stay for 3 months, which is amazing because a lot of the other surrounding African countries require a visa and it's like $50 to $100.
So you want to move to Cape Town, South Africa, where the cost of living is 66% lower than the U.S. Rent is 71% cheaper, and you could live comfortably with $1,250 a month.
Cape Town is truly a magical place. Like, it's the most beautiful city you'll ever go to. Like, the beaches are like the Hawaiian beaches. The mountains are unlike any others. The wildlife, obviously, in the safaris. I had the opportunity to live a 5-star life on a 3-star budget. Costs a half to a third to a quarter of what it would in Canada or the United States. So it allows us to live a high-quality life on a low budget.
Okay, so a couple of things for me to point out there because people are not good at deducing the obvious. Okay, number one, the same African countries that say we should be lenient should sweep around their own front
Here's
door.
everything you need to know. If you're American, you can come to South Africa without a visa and stay for 3 months, which is amazing because a lot of the other surrounding African countries require a visa and it's like $50 to $100.
Thing number two to take note of, a lot of people here say that they don't feel comfortable in South Africa. Nobody asked for the documentation, and we're not getting along. Here's people from all over the world feeling like they get along just fine with South Africans. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to go, oh, but you're not doing it to black Africans, blah, 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 blah. Guys, I pointed out Russell. In a previous video. Please, Russell. Okay? Russell is not from anywhere in Lagos. He's not from Harare, okay? He is not from Addis Ababa, okay? There's Russell. So before you come and tell us why aren't you doing it, this is me doing it. This is me saying we live in different silos and in different WhatsApp groups and we don't talk about this. So please, while we are fighting for the townships, go and educate yourself on what's happening in Cape Town. If you are fighting against the housing crisis in Cape Town, come and educate yourself in the townships. Let's work as one voice like we've proven a million times. The best place to learn about most things in South Africa is Dan Corder. Here's a bit of an insight into what's happening as a result of digital nomads who are welcome here. My issue is not with the digital nomads, it's with the DA that is making stacks. They're making so much money and they're pulling strings at the expense of Capetonians. We cannot, as South Africans, be silent, having watched what's going on in Khayelitsha, having grown up watching District 6, watching those bulldozers and all of those things, and just be silent in the face of this. Okay, whatever your color, whatever your race, wherever you come from in the world, you will live in South Africa on certain conditions, and the condition is don't push our people out. And that's not for the digital nomads to fix. That's for the DA to fix. DA, I've got a strong message for you. I used to vote for you, but not really for you. I was just voting against the ANC as a counterbalance. You have spectacularly fucked up to the point where you lost my vote in Randburg because of what you did in Khayelitsha, because of what you did in Muizenberg, because of what you did in the Cape Flats. It's because a South African cannot protest for what he wants. I saw you, Zilla. I saw your policemen arresting people with a Palestinian flag. Now, irrespective of what side of the, whether he was Israeli or Palestinian, whether I agree with him or not in terms of who he stands with, the point is he's a South African protesting in South Africa. And you turned it into apartheid again. You've lost this country. You've lost. But South Africa, let's not let the DA get away with this, please. Let's not.
Are being driven out. And you know it's bad when rich white Capetonians are complaining. There is an entire scene on TikTok of particularly young white privileged Capetonians laughing at frankly absurd rental rates for tiny, horrible little places in Cape Town. But they're laughing in shock and horror because even they are being priced out of the city. Look at some of these deals on offer in Cape Town right now. Here's our first place, 13,950. It had better be really nice inside because that's not, oh, it's not. Hold on, let's see a little more. I don't know, does it get better? I would live in there and use that table, but not for 13,950. All right, this one's for 16,500. Maybe it gets better. No, guys, somebody died in that room. 2 people died in that room. That is not good. Okay, place 3. This is 12,000 Rand a month. That's the whole place. The kitchen is a ledge across from the bathroom. There's the bathroom. That is quite literally what has happened in Cape Town. It's a joke. But it's an awful joke because the prices are only so high because people are paying for these prices, guys. People are paying for these prices. And unsurprisingly, it is much worse for working class Capetonians of color who desperately need to live near places of work to make money. Most of their families were removed far away from workplaces by the evils of spatial apartheid. And even those who managed to stay near work centers or move closer after apartheid are being driven away again. Because remember,
and the DA is behind it, you guys. The DA is behind it. So South Africa, keep your ear on the ground, okay? While you're clapping with one action with your one hand, be aware of what's happening. Listen.
So they can work from anywhere. Recently, governments have tried to attract digital nomads to live in their countries in order to bring in money and business for their economies. Portugal and Mexico have both created digital nomad visas, and the influx of remote workers has driven gentrification and created housing crises in Lisbon and Portugal and Mexico City and Mexico.
If you don't know what gentrification is, it's when you to be gentrified something. It comes from the word gentlefolk, gentle women and gentle ladies. So it takes a lower class into a higher class kind of thing. So the best example of gentrification in South Africa is Vilakazi Street. You've got a hood, which has become Sandton-esque. And so I do believe the gentrification, when implemented properly, can be very good for a community. This is a nuanced conversation, guys. It can. But why not the whole of Soweto? Like when I was at Nelson Mandela's house and they spoke about the house being shot at and had petrol bombs thrown at it, I'm like, okay, that was heartbreaking, of course. But it's not the only place in Soweto that happened to. Do you understand? And so when implemented correctly, I believe it can happen. And I want to speak to coloured and black South Africans about gentrifying your own place. Please stop opening shebeens. Even you've got enough churches. Start opening coffee shops. Start opening bookstores. Do you get what I mean? Start thinking like owners, and step into your power is what I hope, guys. This is going to take a generation, but I hope that the mindset will shift. Okay? That's another way that we end spatial apartheid, is not only moving people from those areas to nicer areas, but making the kak areas nice. Not that our homes are kak. We make them lekker. We make them I hope you're hearing what I'm saying. But let's carry on with the hypocrisy of the DA. Unsurprising.
Mexico, and it's happening in Cape Town too. Some of these coffee shops are all German. And what's the very first thing that our new Home Affairs minister did when he got into office a few days ago? He extended a concession to foreigners on visas who are awaiting visa processing from Home Affairs. There's a processing delay due to a backlog of applications, and the new Home Affairs minister specifically mentioned two groups of people he cared about safeguarding: skilled workers and tourists. And which party is this minister from? The Democratic Alliance. By the way, thanks to those who sent me a screenshot of his Twitter announcement, because as of today, it is still the case that Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber has blocked me on Twitter. And I still don't know why.
Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber, who right now is doing what?
Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber says the department has launched its first batch of deportation buses. Schreiber says the buses have been used to deport nearly 300 illegal miners back to Mozambique. He says the buses are part of several new initiatives by the department to clamp down on cross-border crime.
We also have launched the use of the first set of deportation buses by the Department of Home Affairs. This is an investment in enforcing the rule of law in South Africa. On the side...
Okay, so please enforce the rule of law in South Africa too when making it fair and equitable for Capetonians in Cape Town. Because we are very happy that you're getting illegal miners out. We can't argue with that. We're not arguing with that point. But if you are going to gentrify Cape Town at the expense of the Cape Flats, at the expense of people who are the descendants of the indigenous, both black and colored people. I know there are a lot of colored people, especially in Cape Town, that talk about where the Khoisan black people aren't. Hey, I've got one word for you. Tunukweba. Tunukwebe. Those are an example of Xhosa Khoisan people. Batlaping, Sotho Khoisan people. Let go of those apartheid histories. Okay? Tribalism's not going to work. It hasn't. It has not. So, guys, let's have a look at the DA here.
I never spoke on him. So what can we, everyday people, do about this situation? We need to make this crisis a serious political issue and place pressure on our political representatives to put local people, everyday South Africans, at the top of their list of priorities. And we need to do it now. Because people are losing their homes now, their jobs now, their sense of belonging now. I can't tweet the Minister of Home Affairs because I am blocked. But you can. So, if you're watching this right now, get onto Twitter, tweet at Leon_Schreiber, it's on the screen, and use the hashtag DentTheRentCPT. Because if we all use that and we get it to trend and get the media to talk about this the way they should be, we can make this a national conversation. At Leon_Schreiber, hashtag DentTheRentCPT. You guys gonna go do it?
When you go and watch this original video, go and learn how Barcelona was mischaracterized in the news. In the same way that we're being called xenophobic, you only heard one side of the story where they were spraying water on people. You didn't hear it from Barcelona's point of view. Okay, so Dan Corder actually has quite a nuanced point of view. Do go check that out. I'm still looking for the bit with the DA Scalamer chess playing here. Okay, while yada 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 wada fish paste, he's saying all of this, right? Thank you for saying that. But with your left hand, you're gonna have to be held accountable. Okay, we can't have a sneaky apartheid way of how you deal with foreign nationals. Okay? Fairness. Fairness. Hit all South Africans with the same stick. Hit all our visitors and guests with the same stick. Okay? Okay, guys, please bear in mind Dan Corder explains this far better than I can. Do go and watch his video so you understand what's happening. In the same breath of what's happening in the townships, it needs to be happening in Camps Bay. Okay, but listen. Listen carefully to the sneaky scalamgeit of the DA. Okay? Bear this absolutely in mind when you listen to this bit.
In fact, since 2017, the DA-run local government has actively collaborated with Airbnb to get more Airbnbs in Cape Town. Here is once DA and now returning South African Minister of Tourism, Patricia de Lille, looking very happy with their Airbnb deal. They even created a new bylaw recently which allows for short-term home letting for up to 30 days, which makes it even easier for homeowners to rent out their properties on services like Airbnb. And if you're wondering, if you're grappling right now, if you're wondering how a company can get so far with a political organization and get away with being unregulated for such a long time, let me explain to you how politics works. This is Gwen Ngwenya. She's Airbnb's head of public policy for Africa and the Middle East. Before that, she was the head of the DA's federal policy unit, responsible for development and alignment of national DA policy for the whole country. And that's not a state secret, by the way. That's on her LinkedIn from this morning.
The Cool Drink Brigade is at it again. Open your eyes, South Africa. Make sure you know exactly what is up. Okay? While you are busy ending spaza shops for illegal foreigners, homes in Cape Town are being taken away. So remember what Dan Quarter said. The hashtag is @Leon_Schreiber. Hashtag dent the rent in Cape Town. Okay? Okay, remember. No rainbowism divorced from reality. Okay. So it's not either or, it's both and. South Africa for South Africans. People are welcome in our country. People can move here. They can be digital nomads. They can start businesses. They can come and build their dreams. But thou shalt follow the law. Thou shalt not displace South Africans who have worked so hard and have so much more work to do to gain their home. Thou shalt help to contribute to our nation, not just consume. Thou shalt help build our nation. Thou shalt not break it and leave. Thou shalt invest in this nation. Thou shalt not take away our interests. Okay. Collaborators, not just consumers. All right? This has been Nuance with Nikki, the nitty gritty, even if we have to go down to the petty. No, I haven't been petty. The nitty gritty, even if it's shitty, make sure that you keep your ears open. Joburg, let's stand up for Cape Town. Cape Town, stand up for all the townships, please. We have one South Africa. We've only got one. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.